This is Melinda Adkins, joined by Mollie from the library staff, and we appreciate everybody's attendance in this week's DGL library session. We're going to learn about lots of great things. So as a recap for some of the things that you guys are covering this week, remember that currently you are working on your Week 2 misinformation debate, which is under the discussion forum of 2.4 for your weekly graded activities. So you have two graded activities this week, 2.4, the misinformation debate, and then 2.5, which is your main assignment, researching credible connections. So for the 2.4 misinformation debate, we have that broken down into three teams. So you're either on Team A or Team B, which is analyzing the statement, technology has led to an increase in literacy skills. And if you're on Team A, you are supporting the statement. And if you're on Team B, you are refuting or disagreeing with the statement. If you're on Team C, you are going to be analyzing the research and the information that Teams A and B present to you, that is via the discussion board. And then you will analyze which team had the stronger argument. And then you will post your findings by Monday at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure that you include all your teammates who have participated in the debate. Now, if you, for some reason, haven't started on the debate, you need to do that immediately and go into the team forum. So there are three team forums on the discussion board for Team A, Team B, and Team C. It is listed under announcements on what team you're on, so make sure that you've looked at that and all of the accompanying resources that your instructor has posted for you. And again, of course, your teammates in these separate team boards. Now, for those of you who have on teams A and B created documents and collaborative things like groups or like Google Docs or anything like that, do go in and make sure you're monitoring those things and making sure that everybody has access and that kind of thing. So very important. You might want to break this down into the specific areas like texting, the internet, things like that. But that's up to you and your group and what your instructor says of how you want to move forward with this. If you're in my class, I do have some examples for you on the discussion board, the main 2.4 forum. And I also have a detailed video under announcements to show you guys how to get through this assignment with ease. So one of the things we want you to take away from this assignment is, of course, conducting effective research, but also showing that you can really back something on either side with good research, because we have so many resources available to us on the internet and through other digital media these days. And we also want you to take away the practice of collaborating with your classmates in, that are in various locations and coming together with a good product that you do in a quick fashion, which is, all about the way things work these days in the business world. So good practice for you guys to get started on this. Hopefully you guys are coming along with this, because as a reminder, the first posts, or rather the final posts for Team A and B, are due tomorrow evening by 11:59 p.m. And Team C will be due Monday after you have time to analyze what Team A and B has presented to you. And when I say presented, again, I mean probably what they've added to the main discussion forum. A lot of instructors want you to email them the information, then they'll post it on the discussion board. That's up to your individual instructor. If you're in my class, I want you to just go ahead and post it directly on the 2.4 discussion board. And only one person from the team needs to do that, of course, because, there doesn't need to be multiple postings of the same information. So make sure you've kind of got a team leader who is in charge of and responsible for getting that information posted, and then double check and make sure that they have, because naturally everybody's responsible for making sure that the information gets posted on time. So if you have additional questions regarding that, send those to your individual instructor, because they'll be able to guide you in the best direction that works for your class. And good luck on that, everybody. And then our other graded assignment this week is the 2.5 Researching Credible Connections assignment. Now, this is really one of my favorites, even though it's pretty detailed. But you get the opportunity to work with the databases that Mollie will be describing to you. And it's really interesting because with the LexisNexis database, you can go in and find out information in great detail about companies. It's really an amazing database with the types of information you can find out. So I know a lot of you guys are very passionate about your major, about the field that you want to go into, or are currently even working in and getting your education in that field. So it's a good idea to set your sights on what what your goals are, what area you want to go into, what company you'd like to work for, or maybe some different companies that you'd like to research and find out about if you plan on working for them, for example. But many of you already have kind of your dream job and dream company in mind. So we want you guys to take a company that you respect and a company that you're interested in finding more about and probably working for in the future, and research that company. So this is information that's really important to you guys and pertinent toward your future success in your industry. So never too early, to start learning about the company you're interested in working for and all of that information. So you're going to research that company through LexisNexis, the search engine that Mollie will be telling you about soon. And you're going to utilize Digo with this assignment. So you guys started using Digo last week. So just like week 1, you will create a Digo list and name it something like assignment 2.5, research incredible connections, something like that. And you're going to be saving a screenshot of the company info into your Digo list, a couple of those. The instructions, of course, will go into more detail about that. And you're going to be creating a presentation, and you're going to research the company through LexisNexis. And you'll find 2 articles from LexisNexis and 2 articles from a search engine. So we're not really concerned with what search engine. We want you guys to be creative with your search results. And if you have specific questions about that, again, go to your individual instructor. We want you also to get practice at using search operators. So we've got an article for you about that. Remember also to look at the facts, the frequently asked questions, because we have some different infographics and things in there to help you out with this kind of in a step-by-step fashion for some of these assignments. So always remember the frequently asked questions and the rubrics for all of your assignments. So you will be creating a presentation based upon the research that you find in LexisNexis and a search engine. Remember, you'll add all of those resources or sources to your Digo list, including screenshots of the company information, and you will evaluate the credibility of the articles. So we have an evaluation guide that we've provided for you guys that's based upon the 10 C's article, where we want you guys to evaluate the credibility of the different sources that you find. So we have prompts for you in the evaluation guide with the types of things we want you guys to think about when you're conducting research and when you're looking at a source to determine if it's credible or not. So you'll answer those questions in the guide based upon each source. So remember, you have 4 sources total, right? 2 from LexisNexis, 2 from a search engine. And you will consider the answers, the evaluation guide questions, and think about whether you find the articles credible or not and why you think that. So explain why they're credible or not. Just don't say yes or no. We want some detail based on the evaluation guide questions and the 10 C's as to why you think each article is or isn't credible. So you're describing it. And you're summarizing your responses to those questions in the evaluation guide. So we want you to create a presentation where you house all of that information, if you will. And within that presentation, you will include a screenshot of the company info and an explanation of why you respect and chose the company, and why you, of course, feel that this is a company that you want to research. And of course, again, I think it's a great idea to start looking at companies for which you would like to work and researching those companies. That's a really good idea. So, provide a little background information as to why you are researching this company, and you can relate it to yourself and your future goals. That's a great idea. Include your answers to the evaluation guide questions for all 4 articles. Okay, so you're analyzing each article separately, and provide your own analysis and explanation as to whether you found each article credible. Now, that doesn't mean it's necessarily, a black or white answer that it's yes or no. Some resources we find more credible than others for various reasons. So maybe we find one article to be credible, maybe 90%, and another one to be credible at 80%, for example. So there's a sliding scale for that, and you'll learn more about that as you look into the assignment. And we want you to find and use at least 4 relevant images from the AP collection. And Mollie will be going over what the AP collection is today during the session. Remember to cite all of your sources, and that includes images. So anytime that you're using an image, you should also cite the original author, the source of that image as well, just like you do any written text that you're utilizing that someone else wrote. So again, remember to cite all of your sources, very important. And of course, Digo is where you'll be able to, put all of those citations in, those references, and then, put that link within the presentation to your Digo list. All right. So do again reach out to your instructor for specifics and for their guidance on this assignment. It's pretty detailed. So if you haven't started looking at it, definitely start looking at it as soon as you can. Again, it is due Sunday before just a minute before midnight. So make sure you get that in before the deadline. And again, if you're in my class, please look under announcements. And I have a detailed tutorial there under announcements to help you out with the assignment. Okay. So I think we're good on 2.5 so far. I know a lot of you probably haven't had the chance to look into it yet, but you might want to come back and watch a little bit of this archive, and because this will be, of course, in your class, the archive for this, even if you're attending live, and then go through and look at those directions and supplemental instructions like the rubric and the frequently asked questions and those types of things. And again, look for your instructor's individual instructions or tutorials or labs or anything they might offer for the assignment as well. Okay, and at this time, then I will hand it over to Mollie to tell us about the library. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Melinda. And hello, everyone. How are you? Can everyone hear me okay? Wonderful. Well, as Melinda said, my name is Molly, and I'm going to go over the library resources. Just a heads up, I am going to go over everything that was mentioned for the assignment, but I'm also just giving a general overview of the library. So you may hear about some things that you might not specifically use for this assignment, but you just might want to know about or use for a different class. Mostly I'm going to go over our library live events, our physical collection, and then how to access the research databases. So basic information to start out, we are open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And we are located in building FS3E. So if you ever are on campus, even if it's for your graduation, we encourage you to stop by and say hello. We would love to meet you. And then our contact information. You can reach out to us at extension 8438, or you can email us at library@fullsail.com. And I don't want you to ever be afraid to ask a question, even if you think that we've maybe already answered it at another point. It's a lot of information that's coming your way, and especially starting out. So you can always email library@fullsail.com, and we can review how to access a database or how to, look up a company on LexisNexis, any of that information. You can also reach out to us at our Full Sail Library handle, so that's Full Sail Library. And what that means is that if you use Messages or iChat or even AIM, if anyone still uses AIM, you can contact us right then in that moment, and as long as it's during our open hours, we should be able to get back to you immediately. It is a student, one of our wonderful work study that's working at that station, so if it's a really advanced question, they may have to pass it on to a reference librarian, but if you just need help accessing your account, they should be able to help you out. So the next screen, this is just to give you a little bit of information about our library live events. We try to have an event every month, and I'm telling you about these because we also try to make them available to our online students as much as possible. And if we can't make them available during the event with a live stream, we try to film them and then put them online for you to view. So what you're looking at on this slide on the left-hand side you see an image of an open mic night. And that one we actually did stream live. That's a student that's performing from their apartment. And then on the right-hand side, it was a really cool event that we actually set up outside of the library. You can kind of see the books in the background. This was a stage combat demonstration, pretty cool. Amy used to be a student before her graduation, and she was teaching us all how to use the whip for film. She was professionally trained, and that one we also streamed live. So if you ever have any ideas, especially specifically for online students, don't hesitate to let us know. This is very much about student involvement. The events that we have at the library, they're planned by students, they're carried out by students, filmed, photographed, all of that good stuff. So if you could, I just want to give you an example of one of the events that we have. If you haven't already, under the Materials tab, you'll see a link that says Library Game Night, and I encourage you to watch that video. Just go watch it really quickly if you haven't already, just to kind of give you an idea of what we do at the library. Does everyone see where that is? Perfect. So just watch that and then return to the room. All right, did everyone have a chance to watch the video? Perfect. I saw a couple people mentioning that they're jealous. That is a game night that we have pretty frequently, and we have streamed it online for our students. We had a student that we work with that's really good on gaming online. So the idea is to let you know that pretty much everything that we do have, we try to make available to our online students as well. Next thing I want to cover is the Writing Center. While it's not specifically a library resource, I just want to make you aware of the Writing Center. If you go to their page on Connect, which they do have their own page, they have a wonderful resources for you that help you with your writing, with your resume, with your cover letter. You can set up appointments with the Writing Center, and they also host open hours at the library Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 1 to 5 p.m. So I really encourage you to explore that as a research or as a resource to help you with your school projects. So, the library collection. Before I get into all of the amazing books and graphic novels that we have, I do want to let you know that this specifically is available to our online students. What we would need to do is get you set up with a Koha account. And Koha is the open source software that we use to manage our physical collection. But once you do that, we will actually mail out all of these items to you for free, regardless of whether you're in, Tampa, Florida, or Ohio, Oregon, Oklahoma, even if you're in Brazil or Jamaica. We will mail out our items to you for free. It normally takes 3 to 5 business days, but if you're a little bit further away, then it could take a little bit longer. And we'll also include a return envelope for you to mail the items back for free as well. It's a pretty cool service. I will tell you just a couple things. All of this will be explained to you via email, but you can only check out 5 items at a time, and you do have to actually return the item or you will be charged late fines. So what we have in our collection, we have a ton of books, and that's going to be based on all of your degree programs and interests, really. We have graphic novels, business planning books, books on mobile applications. We also have books on creative writing, all of those different areas. We also have magazines or trade journals, billboards, Sports Business Daily, a lot of different magazines, as well as screenplays, student projects, and thousands of DVDs. Those will be live performance, those will be drama, sci-fi. We even have some tutorial DVDs, as well as hundreds of video games. So someone's asking about the email. Well, the email you actually receive when you set up an account. And if you would like to set up a Koha account, you need to email library@fullsail.com with the following information. So if you just type in library@fullsail.com and then say, hi, I would like to set up a Koha account and include this information, then they will get you set up with an account. So I'll just leave this here for a moment. If you would like to take a screenshot, which if you're using an Apple, that's Command-Shift-3. The email address does not have to be your Full Sail email address, just an email address that you check regularly. And I can come back to this slide at the end if I need to. Okay, so I'm now going to jump over to actually show you the library resources live. So if you don't know, once you're logged into Connect, to get to the Libraries Connect page, there's a couple different places. We're located under Bookmarks and Library, and we're also under Organization and Library. We are under Bookmarks because we're a very popular page. We're actually the #1 most visited page on Connect, so that's pretty cool. You're welcome, Chris. You want to make sure that you're accessing specifically our research databases from Connect. You don't want to bookmark EBSCOhost or LexisNexis because we host them on a proxy server. And what that means is that you need to be logged into Connect to access the databases. If you're off campus, you'll probably need to re-enter your Full Sail username and password, which just remember that's actually your email address, but without the @fullsail.edu. So mine would be mpuler, for example. So I just want to go to Koha, that's the account that we were just talking about, to show you how to request items. So from the main page, you see some tutorial DVDs as well as some recent acquisitions. I'm going to go ahead and log into my account though. You can go to Koha without an account, but you can only search. You can't really access your account. Once I'm on my page, I can look at items that I have checked out. I can look at any finds that I might have. And if I need to, I can actually renew my material. So if I am approaching my due date, I can go ahead and renew that item. So if you want to have items mailed out to you, I'm just going to quickly show you how to do that. So if I'm looking for creative writing books, I can type in creative writing and then click go. I can play around with the different item types over here if I would like, but we probably do not have any creative writing DVDs, so I'm not going to worry about that. And if I find one that I would like, Myth and Creative Writing, the Self-Renewing Song, I can quickly click here, Add to Cart, or I can click on the item and I can also do it from this screen as well. It's an easy way to think about it is actually kind of like using Amazon when you put something in your cart and you want to purchase it. So I'm going to add this to my cart by clicking Add to Cart, which I already have one item in there. And then I'm going to click on my cart and I'm going to send. And this is where you would enter in library@fullsail.com. So once you do that, you just click send, and then we get an email letting us know which items you would like to have mailed out to you, and then we'll send an email to you letting you know that they're on the way. So that's Koha. If you get confused with that process, don't hesitate to rewatch this tutorial or to email library@fullsail.com. Next, we are going to jump over to those research databases, and those can all be found right here under research databases. A couple things here. I mentioned that you want to make sure you're accessing from Connect, and also that you may need to enter your Full Sail username and password again. If you're on campus and you're still having issues, you may want to try this troubleshoot link that's up at the top. And also, just a tip, sometimes just changing your browser can help you out with the databases or really with anything. So maybe if you're using Safari, try Firefox, Chrome, something like that. So we have a lot of EBSCOhost databases on this page. You'll see all of the EBSCOhost databases have EBSCOhost in parentheses. If you're not sure exactly which one you want to search, A good place to start is by clicking on the main EBSCOhost. What that means is that you'll be able to pick specifically which ones you want to search, or you can select all of them. So I'm going to go ahead and select all. So someone type in their degree program for me. Anyone? Music production. So I'm just going to go ahead and use music production as an example to show you a little bit about EBSCOhost. So this is going to be your boxes that you can throw in search terms. And down here is a lot of advanced search options, which if you're just starting out, you may not want to spend too much time there, but I always recommend that you click on full text. What that means is everything that's coming up in your search results is going to actually be available in HTML or PDF full text. So I'm just going to do a search for music production, and we're going to get a lot of results. You'll see we have over 7,000 results. So over on the left-hand side, that's actually where you can narrow down your search results more if you would like. You can mess around with the publication date. You can pick specific types of publications. So it's not going to just be academic journals. You can look at reviews, news, magazines, all of that stuff. Once you do find an article that you're interested in, you'll see that they're available in either HTML or PDF full text. In order to view the article, you can just click on their HTML or PDF full text, or you can click on the link, the orange link, to get some more information as well as give you access to some additional tools. So this takes me to the abstract of this article, using informal education through music video creation. And then I'm also looking at the tools. You want to really spend some time with these tools because there's some stuff that's just going to really help you out when it comes to research. Specifically, there's a citation tool. Laura, I'm happy to hear that you're loving the library resources. Maybe you've had to do APA or MLA citations before, and maybe you loved it, but more than likely, people do not enjoy doing APA or MLA citations. Luckily, EBSCOhost will help you out. So if you click on that citation, you'll see about 7 different formats here, and you can copy and paste that into your references or works cited page. I always suggest to people that you might want to double check this against Citation Machine or Purdue OWL, which if you aren't familiar with those websites yet, I encourage you to get familiar with them. They're just also citation websites that can assist you in creating citations. Another tool that you want to pay some attention to is permalink. So if you're not familiar with permalink, it's pretty much how it sounds. It's a permanent link. So if you copy and paste this link, you can, or if you copy this link, you can paste it and it will never change. So you can use it with Diigo. So it's right here in this little box, the permanent link. Okay, so that's EBSCOhost. There's a lot more you can do with it, so if you ever want to learn a little bit more, do not hesitate to reach out to the library or even attend one of our professional development courses we teach. Next up is LexisNexis, which you probably want to pay attention. This was another one that was mentioned when Melinda was going over your assignment, so we're just going to jump over there. LexisNexis Academic is great for researching companies, for researching individuals and their biographical background, for researching the news, as well as legal cases. It's actually one of my favorite databases just because of the wealth of information that's available. So when we click on LexisNexis to enter, you're going to see a few things. This is your main search box that you can always just throw search terms into there if you like and then narrow it down later. You'll also see some links that take you to external assistance, video tutorials, etc., and just some hot topic links. If you do want to search by a specific content type, you have that option right here. I don't want to overwhelm you too much. What you're probably interested in for this class is going to be the company, executive, and industry section. However, I do want to tell you with most of these databases, there's several ways to get to the same spot. So if you don't remember this link right here, you can also go to this Get Company Info quick drop down. So then this is where you would enter in your company that you want to research. It gives you an example, Microsoft. You could enter that company name. A couple things about doing the company info search. It's if they, I can't tell you every single company that is available in LexisNexis. I can just tell you that it's thousands. If it is a larger company, there's going to be more information available on that company just because it is a larger company. So let's just go ahead and look at Pixar. Pixar Animation Studios, but I'm just going to type in Pixar. And just a little heads up, I put in Pixar and I see Pixar Animation Studios right here. Just know that there are actually 53 companies that came up with my search. It's just showing me the top 3. So if at first you don't see the company that you were looking for, you may want to click on this red link right here to expand your search. So I'm going to click on Pixar Animation Studios to view what's available on this company. So Melinda mentioned that this is great for this assignment, but also for just researching your industry or a job field. I have to agree with her. There is so much information available on this page, especially if you just want to start, kind of figuring out which company you want to work for, looking at their financials, all of that information. What you're looking for on this screen, or what you're looking at on this screen, you're going to get a snapshot of the company and their contact information. On the right hand side, you're looking at the top executives right over here and their LinkedIn icon. So I'm not sure if you're working with LinkedIn profiles yet with that professional development, but it's pretty cool that you can immediately look at the LinkedIn page of one of the executives of Pixar. Over on the left-hand side, just a lot of other information. You're looking at a company hierarchy breakdown, any news publications or financial breakdown, legal, intellectual property, all of that good stuff. I do want to show you, I believe for this assignment, you have to find a couple articles related to your company as well. So say you find Pixar, and that's when you're interested in, and that's great. You can always go back to the main LexisNexis page by clicking here and use that main search bar. But you can also go right here to In the News, and you can automatically look for publications on your company. So if I click on major newspapers, then without even needing to re-enter Pixar Animation Studios, I'm already looking at all of those articles that are related to Pixar. And what's great about this is I can also search within these results. So if I'm still not finding exactly what I'm looking for, I can enter in some additional search terms. But once again, if I do go back to the main LexisNexis page, I can also just type in Pixar and get articles this way as well, with even more ways to break down my search results by looking at different sources, subjects, industries, etc. So I'm going to click on one of these articles just so you can see me view it. A couple things similar to EBSCOhost. If we look over here on the right hand side, it will also help you with your citation. It's this hidden book that does not look like a citation tool, but if you click right here and then you click on display bibliographic information, and you'll see you have the option of changing between Chicago APA or MLA and export. It'll pop up on the screen for you. So another pretty handy tool for helping you create the citations. And once again, that was the tiny book icon up here at the top. LexisNexis will also assist you with a permanent link if you click on this little chain. It's a little bit different than EBSCOhost. It gives you the instructions right here. What you would do is right click. Oops, I did not right click. And then copy link. And then you can paste it. So that's LexisNexis. And I encourage you to play around with it, especially the company section. There's a lot more you can do with it. You can compare companies, have some fun. If there's a specific industry that you're really interested in, I think that you'll find it's a really valuable resource. So I'm going to go back over to our main research databases page, and the next database that we're going to look at is AP Images, which is another one that you're being required to use for this assignment. But I'm going to tell you guys, I bet you anything you're going to continue to use AP Images even after this class because I use it and I'm not required to use it. They're copyright-free, royalty-free images. So if you're having trouble doing those Google image searches, you're not finding high-quality images, you may want to check out AP Images. So these are all images that are provided by the Associated Press. That's what the AP stands for. And you're going to see images that look like they were included in maybe a press release or some type of news article because that's what they were. That's what the Associated Press is. But there are some really cool images. There's actually a lot of really wonderful vintage black and white images as well. So if I do want to search, let me see if I can find some images from the movie Frozen. I can just throw that in here. I could put Frozen and motion picture and I'd probably just get pictures of Frozen. Let's see. I'm just going to give you an example of how frequently images are added to AP Images. Yesterday when I did this search for Frozen, I only got images from the movie, but since so many new images have been added, I now have all of these other images that don't relate to Frozen, which I think is pretty cool actually. So let me just do something else that I know how the search will go. If we look at Muppets, there's some really cool vintage and new Muppets images. Here's Michelle Obama with Kermit the Frog. It's a pretty cool image. If you do need some additional, let it go in Frozen, that is true. If you need some additional information on the image, all of that's going to be listed underneath, including a caption, just giving you a background of the image. So once you find images that you do want to use for your project, your presentation, you do want to make sure that you're actually downloading the images. Don't right-click save them. You want to actually download them so that you'll have those high quality, high resolution images. And all that you need to do is just click those boxes and then view selected and then download. So once again, you are free to use these for any of your projects as long as you're at Full Sail. You close out some of these tabs. Okay, so the next database I'm going to show you is Westar Music. People tend to get really excited about Westar Music. It's our copyright-free, royalty-free music and sound effects database. I didn't mention it before, but if any of these databases have specific login instructions, it'll all be listed on this page in this text. Westar Music happens to be one of these databases. Westar Music, you do not need to create an account, is what you want to remember. This is a rather expensive database. You're going to see some prices listed. It's commercially used by a lot of large companies for their marketing, and you don't want to have to worry about paying for anything, so please make sure that you're using our account. The username and password is listed right here. It's username Full Sail User and password Full Sail. So I'm just going to go ahead and enter, and I'm going to log in with that information. So Full Sail User and then Full Sail. So now that we're logged in, you're looking at a lot of stuff, a lot of copyright-free, royalty-free music. You can play around with all of these different genres on here. You'll also see these two main tabs that you're probably going to be most interested in, music search and sound effects search. So if we look at music search, it's going to be a lot of different tracks that we can use. These are great for any type of media project, if you're working on a demo, on a commercial, if even for the sound effects, if you're working on a keynote and you want some transitional sounds It's pretty wonderful. So you'll see on this screen, you can use the search box, or you can use the drop-down menu to look at the different genres, the different instruments, different styles, different tempos. All of these categories should be pretty self-explanatory, except for this one. That's a preview button, the purple and white triangle, so you can preview the track before you download it. You'll see description, time, beats per minute. You don't have to worry about this price as long as you're logged in with our account. Occasionally, it'll show that someone else is logged in, and that means that we need to reset the account. That's why it's so important that everyone does use our account, the Full Sail user. If you do want to download something, you download with you can download it in .wav or .mp3 format. Yes, this is all free as long as you're using it at Full Sail and not commercially. So going on the same note, we have a lot of different sound effects as well. You'll see a lot of really cool categories that you can play around with, or you can use the search box. If someone wants to type in one of these categories, that's the one I'll explore today. So anyone, just type in a category. I'm going to go with animals. Doors is a little boring. No offense, Darwin. So you'll see there are a lot of different categories within this one. There are over 1,000 bird noises. You wouldn't think that you needed that many bird noises, but they're all available to you. So if we look at fish and other sea life, we can just play around in here. And once again, similar setup. Let's listen to one of these. Attack water thrashing animal. So there you go. That's an example. Yes, this would be wonderful for computer animation projects. If you don't have a use for it, you know, at the end of the day, you can always use it to annoy your roommates, you know, at 3 a.m. in the morning. So I'm going to close out of Westar. I'm going to go back to the libraries page and just point out a couple of things that I already said, but just so you're sure, you want to make sure that you are accessing the databases from the Connect page. And you may need to log in again, and that's going to be your Full Sail username and password, and that's your email address without the @fullsail.edu. If you do have any questions, you can always, or we do have a really wonderful FAQs page that might have the information that you're looking for. We also have an additional resources page, and that's just going to have, depending on your program or your interests, some different websites that you might want to check out, especially for writing and citation. We do have Citation Machine and Purdue OWL both listed there. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to questions. So if you do have a question, you can type it into the chat box, or if you'd like to speak, you can raise your hand and we will unmute you. All right, Laura, I'm going to go ahead, or I'm sorry, Michael, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you.
Laura, I'm going to go ahead. I'm sorry, Michael, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you.
Okay, I went ahead and muted Michael. I couldn't really hear him. If you do have a question, Michael, you can go ahead and type it into the chat box. Melinda, I have the attendance link. I'm going to go ahead and show that on the next slide.
That sounds great. And everybody, if you do have a question while Molly's here and has the ability to answer questions about the library, go ahead and raise your hand. Is the attendance link that Molly has posted. Make sure that you do fill out that so that you get credit from your instructor for attending the library resources presentation. I think that we can all agree that this was a very, very good presentation, very, very useful with lots of great resources from the Fullfield Library. And Molly really helped explain those to make it easy for everybody to use them. So yes, your instructor will be providing an archive link to either this presentation or a different library presentation. If you want this specific one that you attended, you can email me because I will be processing this recording and putting it in my class. But if you're not in my class and you want this actual one that you recorded, just email me at madkins@fullsail.com. And there it is. That's Adkins with a D, madkins@fullsail.com. And I'll be glad to give you this recording, which I will be adding it to YouTube. So I'll just give you the YouTube link if you want this specific one. And again, if you have any questions before we sign off, do raise your hand. I see that Chris has a question.
Okay, I think I may have missed it, but do you know what the time frame is for when you check out an item, how long it's checked out from a library?
Sure, Chris. We get all of that information in your email when you set up your account. But if you're an online student, then the time limit is 3 weeks for all items generally, and you can of course renew as well. We normally wouldn't have 3 weeks, but since the items are being mailed out, we give you a little bit more time as online students.
Okay, and one more question. Um, do they need to be postmarked on the day or back by that day?
We'd need to have it back by that day. But once again, if you're putting it in the mail right before your due date, you can always log on really quickly and renew your item, or you can email us and we'll renew it for you. I will tell you that we're not trying to make you pay a bunch of late fines. So if you happen to mail it out on the day that it's due and there's some problems, then we'll try to work with you. But ideally, we want to have it back by the due date.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you, Brian.
Yes, I was wondering which resource tool would be best for doing or researching the discussion.
I'm not exactly sure what he's asking with that question, Melinda. Is that something specific for the assignment?
Yes, the discussion that we're supposed to turn in by tomorrow at 11:59. Which resource tool would best help us with that?
Okay, Brian, so you're referring to the 2.4 misinformation research debate. If I were you, I would check with your instructor if they have specifics they're recommending, but that's something that you and your classmates should be already doing while you're on TC. And you might just want to go in and use your typical, search engines that you might use for a specific field. But I do have a good link here that I'm going to share with you. It has 100 different search engines for academic research. So I would probably start with this if you haven't provided any input yet. So did you get that link there in the window?
Yep,
Check
thank you.
out that. Another one that is actually listed on this is scholar.google.com. Should provide some great resources. And now that you have the ability to get into LexisNexis and EBSCOhost, if you wanted to provide resources from those, you're welcome to do that as well, but not required. I know you guys are just starting out on that, but those are some good directions for you to go in. That 100, plus research uh, website here for the 100 academic research engines, and then the scholar.google.com. Do stay away from things like, Wikipedia and wiki sites and that kind of thing.
All right, Brandon, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you. Did you have a question, Brandon? Okay, if you do, you can go ahead and type it in. You maybe accidentally raised your hand. You're welcome, Darwin. A couple more minutes if you guys have any final questions.
Okay, I think we are probably done with questions at this time. Uh, Molly shared very really interesting and informative resources for us. Remember that you've got all these resources to you available for free. while you're a student at Full Sail. And another nice thing is that, we think about work and studying, which is awesome. Of course, that's what you guys are here for. But remember the leisure part. There are games and movies and things for when you guys want to unwind. You can also check those resources out from the library for free as well. So do keep informed with what the library has to offer with all the different events, because as you saw at the beginning, lots of those events are streamed and you're able to enjoy those even if you are an online student and can't make it to the campus. So that is a nice benefit for you guys who are online and not close to the campus. So again, check in with Connect, see what's going on the library page. And if you have specific questions or problems logging in to the library resources, make sure you contact the library. And if you're having specific questions on the assignment 2.5 or 2.4, of course, make sure that you contact your individual instructor. So on that note, I think we probably don't have any other questions at this time because I don't see any hands up. So we'll go ahead and close out the session. I appreciate everybody's attendance and participation, and I hope that you guys have a great afternoon.
Thank you all. Have a good afternoon.